I think this season is defined as a success if they stick to Conroy's long-term vision. It's going to depend on what they do on this offseason, what they do next year, what it looks like 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road.
This was the big opening question for both Conroy and both Huskin. You just mentioned it, some of the players. But would you consider this season a success?
This season. See, you know what? Ryan Pike wrote a very good article today over at flamesnation.ca. And this is kind of along the lines I was thinking. And that's the thing. These guys asking these questions, I think that's probably the wrong question to ask. I understand why they're asking it, because the fan sentiment, like we just talked about, is very much, well, it wasn't a success because they didn't get a high draft pick and they finished out of the playoffs. So there are successful aspects of the season. There are non-successful aspects of the season. But what's going to define that is how they move forward.
Yeah.
Go read Pike's article. Thought it was a good little piece, and it pretty much outlines a lot of what I was thinking. There's an editorial today called "It's Up to the Flames to Make This Surprising Season Mean Something." And that's really true. And that's why we're all kind of in this wait and see mode where, you know, we have heard a lot of the same stuff before, like the culture stuff, and we don't want to bottom out, and the retool stuff. We've heard a lot of that before. This year did feel kind of different. Maybe it didn't feel as different as it is in 2015 when you surprised everybody on the back of a young rookie superstar. So the best way to put it is, like, without context, in a vacuum, it's super impressive. The Flames showed up this year, worked their ass off, had a vision from the manager to the coach to the leadership group down to the players, where they were going to be the hardest working team in the league. They were going to kick some fucking ass, and they were going to make a season of it and prove everybody wrong. And they did that for a lot of the year. So absolutely, Dustin Wolf, Matt Coronado, a lot of growth, absolutely a success. And you still have to consider where this team was at when Boston Pizza Jr. dipped too. I think, you know, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But then I see him at the Leafs game the other night, and I was just like, oh yeah, this guy left us a fucking turd to clean up here. And hey, Connie's done a very good job of doing it.
Meanwhile, he was gifted with fucking one.
Oh yeah, dude. I like how he showed. See, this is just torture to Flames fans. You just see him up. He's like, he's got his gum chewing. What's he doing? He's got his gum out of his mouth. He's like, and it's like, buddy, like, it's like that meme where it's like the guy who does nothing on the group assignment and still takes credit. So like, he just showed up and like had Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews and William Nylander. It was like, oh. And it's like taking all this credit. It's like, buddy, you just showed up and took over this thing. Give me a break, dude. But anyways, you see him and you're reminded of the absolute shit show. But that's the question. Is it a success? It's going to depend on what they do on this offseason, what they do next year, what it looks like 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Do they I think this season is defined as a success if they stick to Conroy's long-term vision that he laid out when he took over as GM, which, hey, for all my bitching about them not being super aggressive in rebuilding, he still seems like he is going to move forward with that. So if that happens, then absolutely it's success. We talked about this a few weeks ago about this, that this could be a building block here. You know, this should be a building block here. But what this can't do is be a springboard to try to get to your goal faster, or try to just avoid being out of the playoffs any longer, like it did the last time this team was trying to rebuild. Because that's exactly where everything went wrong. They were like, oh shit, we've actually got a really good player here in Gaudreau. You know what? Why don't we just skip this whole rebuild thing and we can just go right to where we need to be and make the playoffs? And that team never maxed out as what it should have been because they didn't stick to a cohesive plan. So it has to be a building block season, because I think you can look at how the Flames have operated in the past, and it hasn't been very linear, and it hasn't led to any success because it was just like all over the place. It's like, we're rebuilding, we're trading picks, we're doing this, we're signing free agents, we're going here, we're going there, building a house of cards, all collapses. It just needs to be a step-by-step building block here. You know, it can't be a huge overreaction. Maybe it can't be an underreaction, but I think you just it should dictate. You still have to be careful with your next steps. Not even careful. You just have to be meticulous and know where you're going and know where your North Star is.
Well,
And
and you also got to be realistic with where they truly are.
yeah, exactly. Right. Like as much as kind of as fun as this season was, not fun. I don't know if people keep calling it fun. I was like, did you guys watch we took what 5-6 days off, and I'm just like, I'm still exhausted, bro.
Dude, I've been so exhausted all week, and yeah, I think you're right. I think that's why.
I'm just like, oh, I haven't even really been able to watch much hockey. I've just been like, take a breather, bro, because this season was so fucking emotionally draining. But
every single game was a roller coaster.
every single shift, every single period. But yeah, the danger is also with kind of like Tree Living did this a lot. You fall in love with the wrong things about a team. And that's why maybe some of this culture stuff does get a little, you're just kind of like, okay, like be careful here. You can't fall too in love with any of these veteran players, you know, because of the culture they set or how nice they are in the room or how good of guys they are, you know, like you just can't fall in love. You can't overestimate what a team did to outperform their expectations this year, because that's really all that they did.
At the end of the day, culture doesn't win you hockey games, right? Execution, scoring, defense, skill. That's what wins you hockey games. The culture can be a piece that can be a big contributing factor in all those things. But at the end of the day, like, it doesn't win you hockey games.
Well,
it's just a big piece of value. I think, especially over an 82-game season, it can help you stay focused longer. It can help guys buy in, you know, push the extra mile. I think it's a big key piece. I mean, that's all we fucking heard about all garbage bag day from every single player, every single management, every single media. It's just like, the culture is great.
Everybody's friends again.
Okay, sure. I'm not going to poo-poo it right now. Obviously, like you just said, it brings up a little bit of PTSD for us because that's all we fucking had been told is what's been important for the last 30 years, and it just hasn't fucking translated to dick all. However, I'm willing to see if this team can build on this season they just had, which is I like what Huska says. We'll get to both Connie and Husky here pretty soon. Huska pretty soon.
Old Husky.
But if they can go back and build on it and bring out a similar product, I think on our last episode we even said, we're just like, that was a grind. They battled their balls off for 82 games.
Yeah.
Can they exert that much output again next season? Are you going to get the same battle and drive every single game from Calgary, from Coleman, from Backlund, from, I guess those are the four main ones for like Dustin, Wolf's, Young, like, but they battled. And I don't know if you can, they even said, we don't have a lot of skills, so we got to play fucking playoff hockey for 82 games. I don't know if you can or not. We'll see. I mean, Huska was huge on off-season training and preparing for next season, which I like. I've seen it in other documentaries. Like, I think we talked about this one time. Was it the Gators, Florida Gators? The coach just had these guys. They were like, fuck, it's like we were training for the fucking military. But they were like hands above, mentally tough. So maybe there's a mentally tough component that these guys can rely on, because they even said across the board, they don't have the skill. So hopefully a guy like Perek starts to come change that. Some of these draft picks coming in start to change that. You know, guys like Coronado and Wolf and Zari taking a next step next season, change that a bit so that you don't have to fucking play playoff style hockey against Minnesota on a Tuesday night in fucking November. Because like that's my biggest concern. Just like, sure, yeah, great culture. Okay. Yes, I agree. You guys bought in, you battled to stay there all season long, and you just about made it. Just. All you needed was one more millimeter against Utah.
Half millimeter.
You just needed one more millimeter against Dallas. This show is a presentation of Bet365. Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never earning at Bet365. an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app and use the code NATION to get in on the game. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly.
Oh, dude, did you see this goal that was kicked in the other night? Morgan Riley scores the exact same play as Connor Zary against Dallas. Daryl Sutter said it best. You get into Toronto, you know what happens there. That's all I'll say.
I saw the Winnipeg goal called back last night, where it's like you can see it in the glove, and your brain can tell you that there's no fucking way it's not over the line.
Yeah.
Well, but we don't have a photo of it. And it's just like, oh, we need evidence to prove our fucking brains work. We need evidence to prove we know how physics fucking works. These guys can't see it, so therefore it doesn't exist. Like, give me a fucking break.
I can't see the air around me. I can't.
Your logical brain can tell you it's past the fucking goal line. It's in. Somebody just fucking have the balls to call it.
That was brutal. I don't know where we get into. And it took an eternity too. It was just horrendous.
I like how Jets fans have the audacity to complain about that. We fucking had it happen to us twice in 3 games, and that's why we missed the fucking playoffs.
Don't you even dare.
Won't you even dare?
I've said this before.
I agree with you. Was the season a success? I'm not going to say yes. I'm not going to say no. I think we're in the same boat. We're going to say maybe.
It can be. It can be. As long as it's part of as long as you turn it into like a staircase, or like, it's just the question of like, you're here, you need to get to there, right? And what's your plan to get to there? And hey, that seems pretty simplistic, but we saw the previous general manager, like it wasn't even right. It was just like all over the place. No vision from how to get from point A to B to C to D to E, which is ultimately a championship. So
previous general manager was talking about fucking shopping in the goddamn fucking grocery store.
Speaking of riddles and haikus.
Fucking aisle 9, and fucking you go fucking slip on the floor, and you have to call fucking mop up on aisle 7, and they go to the wrong aisle, and fucking you're just like, yo, what?
Brad, how would you
20 minutes later, like, did he just tell us anything? God.
Brad, what's your assessment of the season? Well, there's a lot of bodies on the tarmac, and you get the crew out there, and then the crew's on the way to get some bananas, but then they forgot to get the bananas, so they pick up some milk, and then it's like you're all out of milk. And I says to my buddy here, I says, I'm all out of milk. And that's, so to answer your question, Eric, yes. And everyone's just like, okay, next question.
Actually, can we just stop asking questions?
Don't ask Brad any more questions. He's like the fucking he's like some character you'd meet in like the Alice in Wonderland thing, like the Cheshire Cat, who just speaks in absolutely fucking batshit insane riddles.
He's a Riddler.
Pretty much, except the Riddler's like smart and actually. But hey, can be a success. Not willing to say that yet because, these things are. Man, oh man, these arcs and this is a longer process than most people think. Because remember where we were at after the 2015 season, where we had that unbelievable. We went to the playoffs. We went around. We beat the Ducks in 1 game, and then just like 10 years later, it's like fuck, we didn't even win anything. So hey, call me a skeptic. Call me. It's just kind of like I become like.
Oh, you're not a real fan.
We have to see what happens here before you're really get excited, because what you're doing to yourself, if you're not, is setting yourself up for absolute peak pain. Hey, remember when the team fell apart under Brad? I mean, we were pissed as anybody, but we were kind of just like, I've been telling you this for 5 years that something like this was coming. His house of cards was going to collapse.
Maybe
so
you shouldn't have bridged your best fucking up and coming player, and then not made him the captain, and then fucking offended your next best player. You're free. Fucking idiot.
Oh, he's just the worst. So we got to see how this plan unfurls. And I think and again, just to kind of maybe tie this into like the tanking versus not tanking question, like I think the big question in this plan for a lot of fans, like how are you going to get your number 1 centerman? I think that's a valid question that we don't. And obviously he's not going to lay it out, but in the fan base, I think if you're whatever side of the debate you are on, whether the Flames should like tear things down and try to pick in the top 3 to 5, or not do that, or keep a lot of the veterans and try to make a push for the playoffs. Whatever side of that coin, whatever the side of that argument you stand on, we both have to answer the fundamental question of how the fuck are we getting an elite centerman for this hockey club? So that would be, I think that's top of mind if you're talking about actual next steps. Because, well, Braden Point was picked in the 3rd round once, to me isn't like, maybe that happens, but I think that's got to be a focal club of this hockey team, whether that's through trades, whether that's through acquiring more draft picks. Hey, if San Jose is like, hey, 1st overall is available this year, just be like, hey, what can we do you just got to figure this out, because I think that is a valid question that we can all agree upon, that is something they need to figure out over the next few years, is how they're getting that elite franchise centerman.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.